Okay, all right. So today we're gonna talk about the second kind of form that in this unit. All right. So in the past lessons, we've talked about the slope-intercept form. Okay. So today we're gonna talk about the point-slope form. So let's see what that even looks like. Okay. All right. So what are we talking about here? Right now, in the past, meaning in the past week, when we talk about slope and y-intercept, right, we're talking about the slope-intercept form, right, when we talk about linear equations. So that implies, right, two things. One is the slope, one is the y-intercept. Meaning this, right, if I were to give you this, right, with numbers in them, right, you could draw a line, right, you could graph a line, right, for me. Or if I were to give you the line, then you could do the opposite, right? You could give me this. So if I give you you can give me the slope and the y-intercept, and then you can give me the equation. Same thing, right? So, but what if I were to give you just one point, but then I also give you the slope? Would you still be able to find the equation for it? Now, that's a rhetorical question, because by me asking you that, then we would imply that the answer is yes, right? So, knowing that, then how can we do this, right? How can we get the equation? Well, there are a couple of ways to do it, and I'm going to show you the simple way first, right? So the first one is by graphing. So let's say again, right? We have a slope of -3. And one of the points is 4, -6. Now, what you could technically do, really, is to graph the point first so that you have a starting point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is right here. There's my point. Right? And then you have -3 as a slope, which technically means -3/1, right? Which means rise, which means you're going down, and run. In this case, we're going to the right because that's a positive, right? So in this case then, right, -3/1, let me use a different color. -3 means you go down 3, 1 over, right? So let's see, down 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 over, right? 1, 2, 3, 1 over. Wow, right on the edge of it. Okay, so the line is going to be tricky because it's going to be a very it's going to be a very, steep line. So let me try this, okay? Oh, not bad, actually. I did a pretty good job, actually. Okay, all right. Let me extend this line a little bit. Right now, technically speaking, you could draw 2 points. Okay, you could draw 2 points and connect it, but I just wanted to add another point just to make sure. So here we got a line already. Now I knew that the slope was -3. So I'm just gonna write the name of the line here, right? -3x. Now I just gotta look very, very closely at this point right here, because that's the y-intercept. Now where is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. +6, and there we have it. There's our equation. So now, some of you might say, well, do I actually even need this point? And the answer is you absolutely need this point, because if you don't have this point, you wouldn't know where to start. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, you could draw a bunch of lines that has a slope of -3. So for example, I could go like this. That's a -3 slope. That's a -3 slope. That's a -3 slope. So in this case, you absolutely need to know at least one point, and that will be your starting point. Now, however, this starting point obviously isn't your y-intercept, right? So you gotta be aware of that. All right. What else do I have to say? I have nothing to say beyond this point, right? So you see how the rise-run counting thing actually does help. Okay, it's not something that's too easy for anybody here. So with that said, why don't you try this, and then I guess we can go over it. So yeah, so try this one, okay? So the slope is 3/2, and the starting point is -1, 2, and then at the end, don't forget to write down the equation and tell me what it is, okay? So in your notebook, use a piece of graph paper, definitely use a ruler, all right? and then try this one. So press pause right now. Okay, all right, so I don't think I picked the best question, but it's so close that for now, it's good enough, okay? So in about 5 minutes, it's not good enough. So, but right now, just for practice sake, it's good enough. So look at what I did, all right? So here, I identify the slope, right, as 3/2, and the first point is -1, 2. So I plotted the point at -1, 2, which was right here, and then I went 3 up, 2 to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then I connected the dot. The red arrow here represents the y-intercept. You see how it's a little bit off? All right, if I could get the pen to work. Now, you see how it's a little off here? So it's not exactly 4, it's a little less than 4, but for our purpose, if you wrote 4, good enough, okay? Just for now, all right? Again, I didn't pick a very good question. Okay, now, obviously, you probably know me by now that if we can graph this, there has to be another way of doing it. Because can you imagine on a Regents exam, right, that I can give you a question like, they can give you a question like this, and somehow like the only way that you were ever gonna solve that was to set this up on a piece of graph paper and then do what we did, right? That would be silly, right? So the question is, on the multiple choice portion of the Regents, how can you solve this, right? Algebraically, okay? And this is what you need to know then, okay? So what I'm gonna do is show you this, and then that'll be it for today. And then tomorrow, let's use tomorrow for practice, okay? All right, now, let's talk about this then. So if I were to give you, right? So let's call this number 1, and we'll call this number 2. All right, so if I were to give you this question, right, it's the same question. Slope is -3, and one of the points is 4, -6, right? That's x comma y, right? Nothing crazy here. And I wanted to have you find an equation, and there you got 4 choices here. How can you do that, right? Fairly straightforward, actually. It's much more straightforward than you think. So think about it, right? What's the one form that we know already? What's the one linear equation form that we know already? Yeah, the slope intercept form, right? So, and what's the form again? Yeah, y equals mx plus b. So here's what you do, all right? This is brilliant. All right, I didn't invent this, but this is brilliant, right? All you have to do is substitute. So watch this. All right, I'm going to take different steps. So step 1. All right, step 1. Okay, all I have to do is substitute. So I'm going to just take the letter m, and I'm going to substitute that with a -3. And I'm just going to rewrite the rest. Okay, all right, that's all I'm doing. All right, I'm just substituting this. So this is taken care of. Now, you see how here, all right, the lights turned off again. Hold on. You see how over here, I got a y and an x here? Oh, look. I got an xy value here too. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to substitute. Okay, so step 2, right? I'm just going to where y used to be. I'm going to put a -6. I still got my slope, right? Multiplied to x. In this case, our x is 4 plus b, right? Now, keep the faith here with me, all right? Let's just keep playing this game here, right? So -3 times 4 is -12 plus b. Oh, look, looks like we actually have an equation here, right? So let's solve it. So that's 6, and that cancels out, that equals b. Oh, look, we have our y-intercept, right? So what does that mean? If you look at this, then now what we have is y equals, right, the slope, -3. Remember, slope doesn't change, right? So y equals to -3x. And look, we have our y-intercept here, which is +6 plus 6. That's it. That's how you do it. Okay? See, right? Nothing crazy, right? So you see how effective the slope-intercept form is? It's the most popular form. of the three linear equation forms, right? Again, I gave you a point, I gave you the slope, and then voila, there's your equation. Okay, super simple, right? Now, having said that, why don't you try this one on your own, and when you come back, I'm actually gonna go over it with you. So think about, if you want to, rewind, take a look how I did the first question again. If not, just give it a try, okay? Tomorrow, we're just gonna practice, okay? So, okay, all right, so press pause right now. Okay, all right, and we're back. So as promised, let's go over this one together, all right? So let's see, step one, right? So I'm gonna just replace this. By the way, if you wanna put the 4 in the X and -5 in the Y and do everything at once, you can. I'm just slowing it down on purpose just for today, all right? Because you guys are learning this for the first time. So Y equals to 6X plus B, right? Step 2, just replace, right? Substitute 6 and then 4, right? Just make sure you get your X and Y coordinate correct in the right spot, okay? That's the only thing I gotta point out. Let's see, so that's -5 equals 6 4 is 24 plus B minus 24. So that's -29 equals to B. Wow, okay, that's a very big y-intercept. So let's see, y equals to 6x minus 29. Okay, and that's how you do it. Oops. All right, the computer is really glitchy today. All right, 6x minus 29. Okay, all right, let's see how we're doing on time. Not bad, all right. It's under 12, so that's good. I'm happy. All right, if you want to, if you really, really want to, you can go back here and try to solve it that way, all right, and see if this is, I doubt it. I doubt that this is 3/2 x plus 4. I really doubt it, okay? So if you want to try it and then correct me in class, you're more than welcome to, okay? All right, so thanks for watching. Have a good day, and let me try to stop this right at 12, okay? All right, see you tomorrow. Bye. OMG, that was so good.